Hey there, this is Linda from Linda Loves Creating, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of June 5th through June 11th, 2023, and I am working with the Work Story Kit from Allie Edwards. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay guys, so I have quite a few pictures this week. I'm trying to use some of the 4x6 pockets again. I'm loving all this page right here where it's got the 9 3x4s, and I keep gravitating towards it, but I'm getting close to the end of June, which is the end of album 1. So I've started trying to kind of map out which page protectors to use, and I'm trying to use more of these ones that have the 4x6 pockets. So we'll see how well I do with that, right? For this spread, I have all 3x4s on this side and some 4x6s on this side. I'm working with the Work Story Kit. And if you are in the story classrooms and you missed it, I have a lesson in the Story Kit classroom for the Work Story Kit, planning out all of my projects using this kit. And one of those projects is this Project Life spread. So what I did I didn't really sketch out the whole thing, but I came up with some ideas for what products I wanted to use. So I picked these 4 3x4 cards and these embellishments, this label, and this pattern paper. So at the time, I had thought this was going to be a 4x6 pocket for my title card. It's actually 3x4. And I had wanted to put this on there. I think I'm going to end up having to like crop it down, but I'm still going to make that work as my title card. So I'm just going to go ahead and crop that out of here. I think I'm going to end up using more than one card out of this pattern paper, which is something that I do frequently if you're using a story kit in Project Life, especially now that they have these pattern papers. They're a great opportunity to get some like filler cards or, other patterns into your project, especially if it's a kit that's super themed. So this kit, the Work Story Kit, is very, very themed. Some of the kits, like recently there was one that was the Now theme. Now is such a just general theme, especially for an everyday life scrapbook like Project Life, that most of the cards worked for Project Life. However, Work is very specific, and there were some cards that were a little more general, but that's kind of what I tried to do in figuring out what I was going to do in my Project Life spread. Was I pulled the cards that were most general and brought them over here. So I have this one that is a list of what I'm working on, which I thought would be great for Project Life because I can just kind of list out some things. This work week one I thought would be good to put some journaling about kind of my schedule and my daughter's schedule, which is something that I've kind of been wanting to document, but haven't in this specific context at least. And so I would like to do that. And then I pulled this on my desk one, which I printed this photo to include. And then I pulled one to be a filler card. And I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna kind of lay this out. I'm just putting things for now. We had our block party this week, which is not work related at all, but is a story I want to tell. So I have these photos from that and this one. And then I want to include a journaling card about that. So I think I'm going to make a journaling card using this pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there, and I'm probably going to put like a white rectangle or something on it. I'm not sure yet. And then I'm just going to put my journaling here, and then let's see. Just kind of laying out my photos. So this week we had some smoke in the city from the wildfires in Canada. So I was thinking I would include, I have a couple photos of that. I don't know that I want to put them right next to each other, but we'll see. I have my roses, which were blooming, my cat sleeping in a circle here. Just kind of trying to figure out how I want to lay things out. And then I need one more kind of journal or filler card, which is good because I don't like how much photo there is right here. So I'm just going to crop this one down to 3x4 for now. I might not end up using it in its full form like that. I might end up making like a patterned card, but for now that's what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to do that. And that is a little tall, but that's okay. And I do still have some more of it here to work with. I have these little embellishments. So I'm just trying to get a general idea of how I want things laid out. And there's just so many photos here. I kind of want to figure out ways to break them up a bit more. So I'm kind of toying with putting that in the middle. I don't know. What if I put that here? I'll put this one, put a photo here. Well, the problem is then I have to have 2 photos next to each other, or 3 photos next to each other, because I only have 4 of these unless I put them like that. So I'd have to put my title card in the middle, which is a little different for me, but I'm just gonna try it out and see kind of what I think. And then I could put this one in the middle. There we go. So that kind of gives me less photos touching each other, which I like, but I don't like this in the top. So I'm just gonna switch that back and then switch this back. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and put some of these together and have them touching. There we go. And I might rearrange them again once I get words and embellishments on things, but I'm liking that. So then I'm thinking, so for my title card here, I'm going to use this label and I will put my date stamps. I also have the stamp set, which I'm thinking about whether or not I want to use that. So for this, because this is vellum, I'm using a rolling adhesive that is designed, I'm trying to see if there's like a front or a back to this pattern. I guess this is the back. This is designed for vellum. I would say it's not super great. You can still kind of see it, but it's better than like a colored rolling adhesive. My general rolling adhesive that I use, this Tombow one, is blue, which it works great, but it doesn't work for something like this that you want clear. And then I'm just gonna trim this off and put my dates. So let's see here, we're doing June 15th. Or June 5th, whoops. I'm just checking to make sure my year is correct because I recently have been working on my 2022 project life. And so I have to check the year. A lot of times that's one of those things that you don't turn very often, and then you end up stamping the wrong year, which I did on one of my project life spreads that I was working on for 2022. Okay, so now I think I want to embellish this. Let's see. I'm gonna put one of these. So these are the more patterned ones. The kit also had some that had like words on them, but I pulled all the patterned ones out thinking they'd be good for this, for project life, because they're just more general. So I'm gonna put this one here. And I'm probably gonna add some staples or something, but I will do that on fast forward because I'm gonna kind of think through how I wanna do that. But before I put you guys on fast forward, I'm just kind of trying to think through my plan. And of course I will talk through it on my voiceover as well. But I'm just gonna adhere this down. So this is a good way to kind of have more photos. So I had a lot of photos this week. So cropping one and putting it on a journaling card just kind of breaks it up a little bit. And this journaling card was perfect for just a photo of whatever's on my desk, which was kind of what I had in mind when I chose doing that one for Project Life. And let's see, for these two here, I'm thinking this one I want to be a journaling card. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a white rectangle and I'm gonna round the corners and put that there. And I'm gonna create a title. This is Block Party. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna use for that yet, but I will look in my stash. And then for this one, I think I wanna do a filler card, but I was thinking to crop this in half and have like half white, half pattern, and just like have like this like in the middle, and then maybe another embellishment from the kit. I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and start getting this put together. Oh, I guess I also am thinking for these, that I'm gonna use these to embellish the photos and pull some word phrase strips from my stash to add on top of them. Okay, before I put you guys on fast forward, I did want to say I went over to my stash and I pulled over some word phrase strips, some black ones and some white ones, thinking those would be really cute with these colors, kind of paired with some of these starbursts on my various photos as kind of like a repeated embellishment cluster. Then I went over to my stash. I was looking for some purple alphas, and it's just so hard to find purple, you guys. We've talked about this recently. If you've been following me, you know this is one of my grapes. Hey, pumpkin. But I wanted to put on this photo here in my lavender era because that was something that I put on Instagram this week. And I just noticed I had like a lot of purple on. And so I was thinking I wanted to put that in alphas. So I wanted ones that looked like this, but these are the only colors I had from Kelly Perky that were kind of purple, and I don't like this color at all. This one's really pink, so it'd be a little weird. And then this one is like maroon. So I was leaning towards this one, which is a true purple from Freckled Fawn, but I also, like, I really liked this shape more, so I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking I'm gonna use whatever I wanna use here, and then I'm gonna use it here for a title to talk about the block party. And I'm leaning towards this one, but we'll see. The other thing that I did was I went and looked through my plans for this story kit, and I pulled out this chipboard. It says, "Don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life." And I had designated this to work on another project, but I had quite a few chipboard pieces in there, and I was thinking this would actually work really well right here as my filler on this card that I'm going to cut in half. So I'm thinking I'm going to use that there rather than one of these and save these for the other cards. So that is where I am now. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, this spread, I have to say, this is the spread. I messed up so many times on this spread and had to get creative and fix it. So I'm going to talk you through that. And this card right here is the one that I messed up the worst. And I couldn't really fix it. I did the best I could. But basically what I'm doing here is I wanted to write out my work week and my daughter's work week, the hours that we worked this week. She has very different hours because she works hourly at a frozen yogurt shop, and she gets a different schedule every week. I worked at varying hours because of the way that my schedule works. It's a lot more flexible, and I can just pretty much work when I want. So my schedule and her schedule were a little off every week. And if you saw there, I was using my planner to write down the hours that we worked. And then I realized halfway through the week, or when I got to the weekend, that it didn't seem right because I was looking at the wrong spread. I was looking at the week after this one. And Pumpkin decided to come sit by here. But I ended up having to white out some of it and change it, which looks not the best because that card is not white. But it's the best that I could do. I considered reprinting the digital, but I really didn't want to throw this card away. So I ended up just sticking with it, and it's fine. Now I moved on to this filler card here. So I trimmed down 2 cards using this pattern paper that you saw in my intro. And then I cropped down some white cardstock. I initially cropped one piece that was 2 inches by 3 inches for that top card there, which I created a filler card that's half white and half the patterned paper. And then I put the chipboard piece on the top. For this one here, I created a white insert for the card, and then I used my corner rounder to round the corners and create kind of like a rounded rectangle that's white, and that created a journaling card. I used these alpha stickers that are from Freckled Fawn, and they were in, I want to say, the May kit this year, but they might still have some left on their site. I will link below the Freckled Fawn shop, and I do have a discount code, which is all listed below in the description if you do end up ordering from them. I do get a little bit of a commission, which helps support this channel. I went to use those alphas to write the word lavender on this card. My thought was to stamp out entering my lavender era with the lavender in the stickers. And I do like how it came out, but I didn't line the stickers up quite right. You saw maybe when I was doing the stickers on the other card where I wrote block party, I used the backer to my stamp sheet just to kind of line up the alphas to make sure that they fit. And I was doing that because I wasn't sure if block party would fit all the way across or if I had to put it on 2 lines, and I did end up having to put it on 2 lines. So that worked out, but I should have done the same thing to line up lavender. I just assumed it would fit, and it kind of didn't. The R ended up getting cut off, which looks fine, but it would have looked better if I had centered it a little bit more because there's a little bit of space on the left-hand side of the L. But that's one of those mistakes that I might just be nitpicking and nobody else is going to notice, but it does kind of bother me. And I'm moving on to this journaling card. So this journaling card says working on. So I just wrote out 5 stories from the week of things that I was working on. Some of them are loosely working. Some of them are more on theme. But I used my little sticky note of my notes and my planner to come up with some ideas of different things that I was working on this week that weren't already documented in the other photos and journaling cards. So the first one is about chores and all the things that I did around the house to keep the house clean. And the second one was working on my YouTube channel and my Instagram and some assignments for Allie Edwards. The third one was that I went to a supervisor training for work on Wednesday. And so I wanted to document that in addition to my work schedule on that other card because it didn't quite fit on that other card. And it was just something out of the ordinary for my work routine. Then I wrote about helping Summer prep for college, which there's so many tasks for that. So I just wrote generally, and then some of the ones that we worked on during this week. And then finally, I listed out finding downtime to relax because that is something that I am also working on. And so then I listed out some of the things that I was doing for fun this week, which is not really work, but I was able to kind of spin it that way. And I really like the themed kits for Project Life because they help me kind of look at my stories of my everyday life through a different lens. I don't always look at my life through the lens of work, but most of my weeks do look pretty similar. My life is not that exciting. And I think that that's something a lot of people say all the time is why should I document Project Life weekly or even at all? Why do I document my ordinary life? Because there's so much repetition, and that's true, but by documenting it, I am helping myself see all of the little things that are positive and that I want to remember, and also just, practice gratitude for the things that are in my life. Now I'm moving on to my embellishment clusters, and I decided to work on all of them at the same time because they are going to follow a formula. The first thing I did was find a place for and adhere down all of these little starbursts that came in the kit. I included all of the ones in my Ziploc bag for this project that did not have words on them. So these are the patterned ones. So they're more of like a patterned background. Then I have these word phrase strips that I pulled over. And first I'm going through and finding one of the 2 black sheets to put a black sticker on each of those spots. And then I'm going to do from the white sheets. What I'm doing first is I'm looking for ones that are specific words that might fit one of these photos. Like, for example, I found one that says bloom on one of the black sheets, and I ended up putting it there on the roses. You can see I switched a couple times trying to find the right one because I knew I had seen that bloom earlier and I couldn't find it again. But other ones are less specific. So I ended up putting one that says good stuff, remembering on that one with some of my neighbors. I put one that says finding joy on the taco truck. So they don't have to be specific, but when there is a specific one, I try to include that so that I can use it up. So I put one that said walking right there on that picture of the rail trail because I went for a walk. And I really loved that I found one that said, give me some sugar, because that's not something I would normally say. That one white sheet were some like kind of cheeky phrases that aren't really things that I would say, but I ended up finding a spot for that one on that photo of me and my daughter with our cotton candy. So now I'm trying to use up more of my stash. So I decided to add a cork star to each of these embellishment clusters, as well as a couple additional cork stars on this page. And these, I hate cork products. I think they look nice, but they are such a pain to work with. And I'm so happy that a lot of companies have kind of moved away from them. Hopefully they saw the same issues that I'm seeing, and that's why they've moved away from them. And I hope that they don't come back, but they are hard to work with. So I'm using red line tape to adhere them down, but it is kind of difficult to peel it. So I did speed this process up a little bit more than the rest of my video because doing the red line tape is kind of hard, and some of it is off of the video just because I was really trying to peel this stuff. and get it to stick down. The other thing with the cork is it is very, very delicate. And some of these broke off little pieces. That one right there, that on the lavender card, broke off the little tip. So what I ended up doing was just pushing it up against the side of the photo so that it looked like it intentionally went off the page and that I had cut that piece off. But I do end up messing up another one. You'll see here in a moment. I think I'm done with the spread and I'm starting to slip everything into the pockets. And then what happens, well, I have to trim some of these down to get them to fit. But what ends up happening is on that cotton candy photo, when I go to slide it into the pocket, I bump the star and knock one of the prongs off. You can see it's broken there and I'm trying to figure out what to do. So I went and got this glue pen thinking maybe I could fix it. And it just wasn't sticking. It wasn't lining up right. I don't know if like when it broke, some of the pieces were just like crumbled. So I realized there was no fixing it. But it had left like a black smudge on the photo, which is the third thing that I don't like about cork, is that it's messy. Like, I don't know if it's all cork or just the cork that they used from, I think these were from Studio Calico, but it has like this black, like film on it that kind of gets on your fingers and gets on everything. And it had left a smudge on the photo. So what I ended up doing was taking my 1-inch circle punch and just punching a circle out of that same pattern paper that I used on some of the other cards and adding it behind the star there. The star is cut off at the end, but it's fine. I'm going to, I can move on and have the few errors in the spread, but it is what it is. And I'm still happy with how it came out. I do really love the colors in this kit, and I really love the opportunity to tell stories from the work theme. And I think that I'm actually going to use the same kit in next week's spread, but I have not yet put that one together. So we will see when I share that video. Here's a look at that completed spread. I hope that you enjoyed this process. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I'm so happy that you guys are here, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you. Bye.